All right, guys, we're doing something a little different today. We're doing One Piece commanders, okay? We're just only doing captains and commanders. For anyone outside of piracy, we'll talk about them when we get to them. And the ranks I have set up is God, Pirate King, Yonko, Warlord, New World Captain, Paradise Crew. For the laziest and weakest of commanders, okay? Pretty boring tier. But yeah, this is just a kind of an arbitrary list since I'm only doing, captains. I don't think it makes sense to do commander ranks for captains, so this is kind of what I feel like is fair commander ranks. I've also mixed in. Just going to scramble these up a little bit more. There's also a bunch of random nobody characters down here at the bottom, but I'm going to stop around. I put a bunch of One Piece main crew members, so it's basically these three rows are who we're doing. So we're starting off strong with Shanks. Shanks, okay, we're doing a few ways of scaling, okay? We're doing all of them. We're doing feats, we're doing narrative scaling, what their place is in the narrative, which we can use to assume the abilities of characters we haven't seen a lot of. And we're doing aura scaling, okay? So if they have really high aura, I'm just going to scale them up for that. So we're doing all three. Okay, everything counts on this tier list. Sabo is not a commander. Oh, sorry, that's Kobe. Okay, so Shanks has all three. He has, among the highest aura of any pirate. Narratively, who is the final boss of One Piece? Is it Blackbeard? Is it Emu? No, okay? One Piece is a story about Luffy rising to the ranks of Pirate King. The world government is a distraction. The world government is a plot. But for Luffy's character, okay, what Luffy needs to do to achieve his dream, the primary antagonist of the story, is surpass and overcome Shanks, who serves the role as the mid-generation Pirate King between Gold Roger and Luffy. So he is, in my opinion, the true final boss of One Piece. It's a story from Luffy's character of overcoming Shanks and surpassing Shanks as an excellent pirate. So we're going to go ahead, drop Shanks at PK, and I don't know who's going to contend with him. Maybe Rocks, but we'll get there. We've got Monkey D. Luffy over here at the top. You know what? With Gear 5 hacks, is it fair to call Luffy a Yonko? Side by side with Kaido, who he probably really, let's be honest, Kaido's a lot stronger. It's a 20v1. He's weaker than Kaido, weaker than Whitebeard. Okay, but what we're doing here, you know what? Luffy is Yonko, okay? And why is this? Because we're doing every kind of scaling, including a crew scaling. By the way, fuck it. I might put Shanks up to God because we're doing crew scaling, okay? Let me go back to Shanks. Because what do you have in addition to your commander's strength, who I was focusing on for Shanks, is you have your fucking crew. And what does Shanks' crew have? They have a speedster. They have a genius. They have a prophet, future sight, right? These are the trifecta of hacks, okay? Like, literally, and he has plot scaling, and he has aura scaling. I'm putting Shanks, it's not fair to put him above Pirate King. It's just not. But he is really fucking high Pirate King. Like, I think the other Pirate Kings might not be able to handle him because, and he also has crew synergy. They all love each other, and they work well together, and they're a great crew, and he has a whole fleet. Shanks is so broken for crew scaling. He has aura scaling. He has narrative scaling. He has every kind of scaling. Okay, anyway. Luffy with crew scaling is easily Yonko. Why? Obviously the power of friendship. Because it's not just Luffy. It's the One Piece Grand Fleet. He moved past Katakuri. He impressed him. Wano is flying the Straw Hat banner. He's taken countries as he goes. Everyone loves him. He has a trail of people behind him. And when the world government's sailing from Mary Geoss to the One Piece Island to Laugh Tale, we're going to see those guys come into play. I think a lot of people are going to be joining Luffy's crew for the finale. And he has a huge number of allies that makes him a very fair Yonko. And we're going to get to another Yonko crew that is Yonko purely off crew strength. Okay, for non-captains, we don't get to factor in crew. I'll give Garp. I'll let him factor in Kobe as his crew. But we'll just do their raw power scaling. We're also doing Prime, okay? Everyone is getting the benefit of the doubt. So Garp is easily Yonko. Prime Garp can probably punch through most Yonkos. He's just the best. He probably brings with him a few ships of fodder, marines. He probably pulls in a couple of vice admirals. Even though he's a vice admiral, he's basically an admiral. What is there to say? I mean, he just has all the scaling. He's able to 1v8 fucking Blackbeard's entire Yonko crew as an old man, subprime, and Galaxy Impact the entire island. He's just like a pretty clear Yonko. No crew though, outside of the crew scaling. Okay, what I'm doing for Sengoku is I'm counting the admirals as working independently, and a Sengoku as just being in control of purely the marine fodder forces, including all vice admirals. I think he's like a fair Yonko crew. The fact that one Yonko can pull up to Marineford and threaten the entire Marine with all admirals present. I guess Yonko plus allies, but we're counting crew strength for this, right? Like he's really, I think like the entire Marine forces, not counting admirals, is like low Yonko. Maybe with admiral, they get to like Pirate King level with the entire combined forces, counting the admirals as, commanders. But without their admirals, the world government is pretty cringe right now. I should also get the Holy Knights in this tier list. I didn't grab him from the bottom before I forget. The Moon guy. Who's a good rep for the Holy Knights? Okay, well, I don't see him in here. Let's just grab a stand-in character. I'll take Saturn as the Holy Knights. The Holy Knights are cringe. I'm going to put them at... They might even be, like, high Warlord. They're so cringe right now. They just lose to everyone the moment they show up on stream. They have regen hacks, but that's kind of it. I'll put them very low, Yonko, because narratively, we're going to narrative scale them, and we're going to say the Holy Knights have to be stronger than they've appeared so far. Too much of what we've seen has been too focused for too long on the old gen and on God Valley, but the Holy Knights are going to come back into the fray, okay? But right now, I can't give them better than low Yonko. They're more like standby enemies while we wait for Emu to show up and properly disrupt the plot with some more elders or something. All right, we got Tree Guy. I think he's one of the weakest admirals, and here's why. Is there's so many characters who have a fire-related ability. You have Blackfoot Sanji. You have, like, Lava Admiral. Like, you have so many fire-powered characters, and he's, like... I can't imagine the plant guy being strong against fire. For context, guys, I didn't say this earlier on, but you are watching a One Piece power scaling video from someone who's only read the Wikipedia and watched clips, okay? I've been reading God Valley, but besides that... Okay, I'm a Wikipedia scaler, okay, and a subreddit scaler. Big Mom, I'm literally putting at High Warlord. She doesn't even deserve the Yonko title. She could barely keep her crew together. She's a malignant tyrant. She's literally a retard. She's, like, pretty strong in a fight. But she's probably weaker than all the other Yonko in a fight. Not clapping Prime Whitebeard ever. Not clapping Prime Kaido ever. It's just not happening. Like... I get it, like, oh, they clashed, oh, they're so equal. No, this is cringe, okay? Mama has the worst crew scaling, the worst aura scaling. She does have the advantage that her crew is, like, family, I guess. But, like, I'm not even putting her in Yonko. I am doing Big Mom a lot of disrespect here. We're rating Katakuri separately because I'm thinking of Prime Big Mom and Prime Katakuri, and I feel like Big Mom is dead, presumably. So Katakuri is effectively the new leader of the... of Big Mom's forces, so I'm gonna go ahead and put him as like next to her, and obviously he's weaker, so I'll just put her a little below her. This music guy, I'm just gonna throw in as New World Captain. I don't know shit about him. Okay, we have the Warlord with hacks. We have Boa, and Boa is really gonna come down to do her hacks work, and she kind of got nerfed with the release of I can just resist any hacks using Haki that directly affect me. So that was kind of a big Boa nerf. I don't know if Boa's crew has, like, any feats. I'm going to put her... She used to be really high Warlord because she could just insta-hack any dude, and 90% of characters are dudes. But there's a lot of characters who are immune to her hacks, too. Now, I'm just going to put her... Probably low Warlord. Alright, we got Bonnie. Bonnie has good hacks, but I'm not going to focus too much on her. She's too young and too naive and too new. I'm just going to put her as New World Captain. Alright. We've got Buggy and Cross Guild. Crocodile is definitely going to go a tier above, not a tier above, but he's going to be above Buggy, but they're pretty much very similar crew strength. I'm ranking them both even though they share crew. And Buggy, he really has on his side just like kind of the luck and the destiny, which is like a funny way of saying plot. But he doesn't really have much going for him besides that. He has like a mid-defensive Devil Fruit that lets him immune to Sharp, and a little bit of combat cheese, but there's just not much there. Caesar Clown, I don't know anything about this guy. I'm just going to put him as New World Captain. This guy, I think he's Italian. I'll just put him as New World Captain. Basil Hawkins, I've seen some of his clips. He seems like he has a lot of really cool powers and really powerful hacks. I'm just going to put him at the top of New World Captain. Sir Crocodile. Okay. Here's a crazy take coming in. I'm going to give a crazy take here. When we talk about crew strength from villain teams who don't have the power of friendship to unite their crews and like liberation and saving people, which is how Luffy and Shanks are able to build their really powerful crews, the next best thing, if we're talking about crew strength, is interest alignment and running their crew as a business. And the two characters who are best at this is Crocodile and one other character that we'll get to. You know what? I'll just throw them up here. Is Daffy. These two have proven, like, Kaido is really powerful personally, but have we seen him intelligently build out a crew and an organization and align them? He feels a little bit like a dumb guy with a club. He's done a good job, but let's do Big Mom, right? Big Mom's worthless at this. These guys are really, really, really good at bringing crews together that are above their weight. Like, Baroque Works with its dozen Devil Fruit users is kind of nuts. Like as a Paradise Captain, he's definitely already in the early chapters way above Paradise Captain, with his crew strength that had to be, obviously they fought one by one over 40 fucking chapters, which if they just all outed the Straw Hats together, it would be GG easy. But that being said, these guys are so good at making crews. I'm gonna put Crocodile as the lowest Yonko because he has a weak Logia. Logia's still powerful, but he's like on the weaker end of Logia. Is very, very vulnerable to water, as we've seen, and blood, which everyone's gonna get bloody in a fight. Daffy, I'm gonna put him towards the higher end of Warlord. Again, not from his personal strength, because I think he just gets instant one shot by half the Warlords. But in terms of his prowess in other areas, in his organization and bringing his crew together and orchestrating events and kind of working under, he's just great for that. All right, Blackbeard. Blackbeard's getting narrative scaled. He's not getting up to Pirate King, but he is definitely going to be one of the final bosses of the show. He has really strong hacks, being able to turn off Devil Fruits and Earthquake Punch. Super strong durability, super strong offense. And I think you know what? It's very fair to put him above Garp because his entire crew together was able to take down Garp with the support of this guy whose name I'm forgetting. And this guy is realistically, let's be fair, narratively, not really a member of the Blackbeard crew. He's realistically going to betray them in one of these any year now. He's gonna betray them. So I'm not counting him as part of Blackbeard's crew. Blackbeard's crew without the Ice Guy, but with Blackbeard more directly fighting, probably beats Garp, but that's like about it. So I'm gonna put him high Yonko, maybe even higher high Yonko because he scales past the because narrative scaling, he's gonna be moving up in the world, not down. But I think this is fine. All right, we have another final boss contender. It looks like we're doing all final bosses in a row. He sucks ass, guys. Like, I'm sure he's got some hockey going that we haven't seen yet. I'm sure narrative scaling, like, we can narrative scale him way up because he has to fulfill a good role. But, like, I don't know. He has the highest attack power, sure, individually. He has good regeneration with Logia, but I just don't know. We haven't seen enough from him. We'll just put Emo as God. Emo is more of a plot thing than an actual character. My presumption is that Blackbeard is going to get the One Piece first and steal Emu's powers, or some other combination of characters is going to start to siphon the world government's power and move the current title of clear final boss and strongest character to someone who has more narrative importance, like Akianu or Blackbeard. Or maybe the Holy Knights, or maybe some elders, but realistically, Emu is like kind of a newcomer in the story, and he's just kind of this evil force, or they're kind of an evil force. So I'll just put them at God for now in terms of their personal power, but they're probably gonna get plot item MacGuffin executed, and then someone else is gonna take over as the God boss, or they'll just serve as like a unifying like power of friendship. This thing's actually evil. Let's kill it together. All right, we have Dragon. We have nothing to go off of Dragon except for. We have crew scaling for Dragon, and then he just has aura scaling and plot scaling. He has no feats so far, but just with crew scaling, the commanders for the for the Revolutionary Army are super powerful. We've seen them fight a couple times. We've got a giant, and he can dig tunnels. And if you're being creative with a giant that can dig tunnels, you have like, I like to think of like fleet destruction, ship destruction, island destruction. And, like, if you're standing on an island and there's a giant underneath you who's making earthquakes and the ground rumble, and he's coming up and grabbing your ankles, like, this is a pretty unfuckwithable opponent for most characters. You really have to be, like, high Yonko Pirate King to start splitting the entire island in half to find this guy in his tunnels. So he has crazy hacks. We have technology from the cat guy. The dark guy just has really good aura scaling, so again, and then narratively he's just super strong. So I'm gonna probably put him as like super low pirate king, but he has kingdoms behind him too, right? Like there's kingdoms that have defected from the world government and are effectively backing the revolutionary army. So super powerful. We haven't seen anything from him yet, but just based on like imagine Garp with a crew, right? Like he's Luffy's dad, Garp's son. Just in the narrative, again, he has to be very low pirate king or very high Yonko. One of these two. All right, we have Kaido, and I am a Kaido stan. He's almost certainly going to be our strongest Yonko. I can't imagine anyone being stronger. I don't know why Kaido gets downscaled below the Admirals, but we have to do a quick aside for Kaido versus Admirals. I've seen takes on the Reddit where Kaido loses to Kizaru or like mid-diffs Kizaru. I don't know an Admiral that can hit Kaido. Like that can deal significant damage. Like what is Kizaru going to do? Pew, 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 pew. Kizaru is fast. Kizaru has little light laser beams. But I haven't seen him do an attack that's like, holy fuck, the attack power on that attack is so high that it's going to pierce Kaido's incredible defenses. It's just not... I just don't know how you hit him. Like, I don't know which Admiral is gonna land significant damage on Kaido. The Ice Admiral gets instant melted by fire attacks. You're not low-get healing that. You know, I just don't know what they do. The Grass Admiral gets instant melted by fire attacks. The Gravity Admiral maybe can prevent him from flying and stuff. And then just get Baga slapped. Like, I think he just low diffs basically every single Admiral. And probably it like mid diffs or high diffs all 5 Admirals together. Because the problem is 2 of the Admirals, Frost and Plant, just get instant fire one-shots. I don't know how much damage Kizaru can do, and if he can distract, or if he can like get significant damage in while Kaido's busy. Akiano is the only one who can probably punch Kaido through the chest, but have we seen like a level of agility? Like Kaido has so many different forms, so many different moves, so much range, so much versatility. There's just no way. Like Kaido just claps all the other Admirals and then fights the Magma guy, and it's easy peasy. X-Drake, I'm throwing a New World Captain. I don't know who he is. This guy, Frost guy, he did duke it out with Akiano for a day, so they're pretty much even. I'll just throw him as low Yonko. Narratively, the fire guy killed Ace, so he has to be... I'm just going to narrative scale him a little higher, but they're pretty much dead even. Enel got cheesed by plot, but he's definitely... Could he be low Yonko? I don't know what his crew looks like is the thing, because I don't know anything about Skypiea, because it never comes up in my wiki or in my clips. But he's also kind of probably going to come back with the Moon People. I'm going to put him as, like, super low Yonko. I think that's, like, fair, because he feels like a step above. And I know I'm doing Big Mom dirty, putting a Paradise villain above Big Mom, but I just think Big Mom gets so downscaled. Bad aura, bad tactics, bad crew cohesion. Like, literally, your crew members are fucking trolling you in the background. You're a tyrant. Just every form of scaling, narrative scaling, completely, what are we doing with this character? They're hungry, they want to eat cake. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we here? What is this? Just the worst. Sanji's not supposed to be here. Zoro's not supposed to be here. Fujitoro. He's kind of new. We haven't seen too much from him. He seems pretty strong, though. Does he beat Big Mom? No. Let's throw him into Warlord. Put him a little bit above some of these other guys. Alright, we got ourselves Prime Moria. Gecko Moria. Getting clapped by Kaido. But he does have a nice crew behind him. He gets all the way, remember, he gets all the way to Wano in, like, Luffy time. Okay? So at his peak, definitely one of the strongest Warlords. Sailing all the way to Kaido. Trying to 1v1 him. Getting clapped by Kaido. Whole crew dies. Super powerful hacks, being able to make all the zombies and having his own island. Like, we don't talk about ship or fleet power too much, but having an entire island that you can sail around is pretty sick. But that is Fat Moria. We'll put him at like a high Warlord, probably below Big Mom. Yeah, like a pretty high Warlord. He deserves the title. All right, we got Lushi. One of the few serial loser villains for a major end villain. Usually they get a win or two in before they get defeated, but Lucci's been on a bit of a losing streak recently. We have CP9 behind him, who's basically just a draft guy and a couple of support. Let's use. He is like he's like kind of even with Zoro, but he lost his Zoro. So let's kind of say definitely going to be in Warlord tier somewhere. Let's see. He has a little bit of a crew behind him, but not too much. Let's put him at like a medium hot, medium low Warlord. All right, we got a new world captain here. All right. And what is there to say? He gets one shot by Shanks, but look where Shanks is and look where he is. Come on, give the poor guy a break. Where does Mr. Kid go? Probably in the Warlord tier. Let's be fair with him. And you know what? Basil has crazy hacks too, but he doesn't have enough of a crew. But Kid he has like a decent sized crew. He has the other he's the only crew outside of Luffy that has 2 supernovas. So we'll give him like a very low Warlord. We'll be nice, you know. Too many people shit on Kid too much because the poor guy went after swung at the king and missed. You don't want to do that. Kizaru. Honestly, speed hacks is so powerful. I can't put him up with the other 2 Yonko because he's mentally nerfed by being a lazy, unclear fuck. But we'll throw him at High Warlord. All right, we got Kuma, the Warlord King. I'm tempted to put him above Big Mom, but I can't do that. Really powerful Warlord. No crew behind him is going to put him down a couple notches, unless you count the Revolutionary Army. But I don't think I'm going to do that. He's more of his own guy. I feel he does his own stuff all the time. So let's toss him behind the people who have really powerful crew strength, or I think Fujitora is just really powerful in general. Is he Admiral tier? Let's put him a little lower. He has no... I'm going to put him below the CP9 because he has no support. But he's so powerful on his own. Like, insane speed. Instantly ends fights by sending people to the other dimension. Super powerful final attack that knocked out an Elder. I'll put him actually... You know what? Let's put him actually pretty higher than some of these solo characters. Because he's like... In terms of solo characters, pretty freaking strong. Alright, we got Law. Don't forget, Law does have Beppo on his crew, and Beppo has been shown in his feats to be stronger than Blackbeard. So, no, but Law has a cute little crew. It's mostly just him, but he has some named characters that showed up in the Blackbeard fight. I think definitely stronger than Kid, because he has such powerful personal hacks. Definitely stronger than Buggy. Let's put him like around the hack tier of Warlord. Pretty good spot. All right, we got the Magellan. Magellan's super powerful and it has a huge amount of forces with him in Impel Down. And I'm gonna also give him a home field advantage buff because he's usually gonna be fighting in Impel Down, which is like home field advantage. And his poison attack one-shot Blackbeard's entire crew. So if we're doing entire crew one-shots, super powerful hacks, very hard to avoid attack. He's basically easily stronger than everyone independently in Impel Down. We'll put him up. Put him up above the solos. You know what? Let's narrative scale him. Okay, he's gonna get narrative scale below the solo Yonkos, the admirals, because he's just not as important as them, and these guys have room to grow in the narrative. He's kind of out. But, like, he did one-shot Blackbeard's entire crew. And I feel like he one-shots most characters beneath him just using poison hacks from what we've seen. But to be fair, that was a long time ago. And you could probably... The thing is with hockey characters is you could probably just say, I use my hockey, that attack doesn't work on me. So let's actually scale him down to low Warlord. We just haven't seen him since hockey hack avoidance has become a big thing. So that's gonna knock him down actually a lot. Because killing Blackbeard's whole crew back during Marineford is actually not at all as relevant as what Garp did in beating them today. Alright, we've got Whitebeard, the world's strongest man. We got the world's strongest creature. We've got the world's strongest man. And how can we put Pops below Kaido? It would be completely disrespectful. We'll actually put him as Pirate King tier. He's definitely up here. Like, Newgate by himself has island instantly. You pull up by yourself and you destroy an island. Okay, if you didn't have hack counters, then you could instantly by yourself subprime destroy the entire Marine command. And the only reason you don't do that shit is because you guys have like a mutual understanding. We'll hang out in the New World, okay? You don't fuck with my guys, I won't fuck with you. Oh, you fuck with one of my guys, I'll destroy your entire HQ by myself, right? One of the largest fleets we've seen, one of the most diverse fleets, tons of amazing captains under him. I mean, the Marineford commander, like, what do you have? What is there to say, right? How could you put Whitebeard any lower than Pirate King? He almost feels like a transitional king between Gold Roger's death while Shanks is still a kid. And then if you had to pick a Pirate King after Gold Roger, it's obviously Whitebeard. And then after Whitebeard is dead, it feels like it's obviously Shanks. So he just really deserves to be here, is my feeling. It's kind of funny how few Yonko we have in Yonko. It's just Kaido, poor Kaido. I guess Luffy, the new Yonko, and we'll probably end Crocodile from Cross Guild. What is there to say? Highest aura. Like, even just today, I don't know if you've seen the most recent chapter, he blocks an attack with his arm from Reversey Rox's sword, one of the strongest characters. Like, he's just him. Like, what is there to say? Whitebeard is so based. Instant island destruction, one of the strongest attack powers, one of the strongest defensives. Incredible crew loyalty, incredible crew synergy. Tons of powerful crew members. Remember, his crew member was able to, not the world's strongest swordsman, but Vista is able to spar with Mihawk, is currently an unmatched feat in universe. So, and that's just one of his many commanders. Jozu is ridiculously defensive. So, Marco, okay, even if you count Ace, like, it's just unbelievable the crew power we have. Like, I almost think Prime Whitebeard, like, imagine before he's sick, sailing the seven seas, Ace is under him, everyone's loyal, even stronger than Shanks probably, just because we don't have the hacks Shanks has, but we have so much going for us. So many fruits, so many great crewmates. Oh, Marco's not supposed to be here, but he's one of them. We'll put him there. All right, Mihawk, even though he's a member of Cross Guild, he's obviously a solo act, and that puts him down a lot. Of the solos here, the problem with Mihawk is he's too fair of a character fundamentally. We've already seen that hacks can ignore his sharp damage from Buggy, okay? If Buggy doesn't get hit by Mihawk, I'm sorry, but, like, until we see something else, I'm feeling Logia's ignore Mihawk. I'm feeling a lot of these characters with hacks ignore Mihawk. His dexterity, his speed in place is unparalleled, but his ground speed is very slow. If he's standing on an island, half the characters above him can one-shot him. Like, his personal attack power is probably almost unparalleled. Personal dexterity and ability to do stuff in place is almost unparalleled. His ground speed is nerfed by aura. He only walks. He doesn't run. And he's just, like as a solo character, he's too fair. He doesn't have any hacks, okay? So we'll put him as very... I don't even know if it's fair to put him in Yonko with no crew and no hacks. I am a Mihawk power aura scaler. And he's so powerful solo, but with no hacks, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do without hacks against some of these guys up here? With no crew and no hacks. I'm sorry, Mihawk. You deserve to be higher. But I can't count Cross Guild as his crew when it's really Crocodile's crew. And that's all there is to say about it. He gets a little bit, but it's just not enough. I'm sorry, Mihawk. I want him to be up here. I want him to be all the way up here. But it's just not right. It's just not true. Aura scaling, Mihawk is God. Crew scaling, nothing. Narrative scaling, he gets narrative anti-feats because he's known as Zoro victim. So it's just cooked for him. Sorry, Mihawk. Loses to a 17-year-old. Alright, we got Odin and the Scabbards contending with Yonko because they did so much damage to Kaido. They really were on par with a Kaido. We presume Kaido got a little stronger, but we're just going to toss him. We're not going to think too much about it, but he'll be a Yonko tier. We've got Rox. Rox at first glance, thinking about God Valley with Newgate under him, with almost every Yonko working under him directly, feels like he should be PK like high, like among the highest. And he is, I think, probably the strongest individual pirate we've seen, not counting super mega ultra hacks, but But then if you think about him, it's like his crew doesn't work well together. They're all betraying each other at God Valley. Do they have the legendary hacks of Shanks? Like, I think he's a character with really high peaks. His personal strength is unparalleled, but he also has like these really deep valleys of weakness where his crew is not loyal enough. But just having Newgate and Kaido behind you, I mean, we haven't seen enough from Dragon for me to put him behind. What about Shanks? What do we do about Shanks? It's a hard choice, but I think I'm going to give him a little bit of a debuff because I care so much about that crew synergy and that crew power. Alright, the ultimate narrative scale. He might go up tomorrow, but right now, poor Gold Roger is really getting outshone by every other Pirate King contender. And I've been thinking about this because I don't want it to be true. Because he's been such an important character for so long, but he's really been slipping. We'll see how he does, because he and Garp are going to be fighting Rocks next week. And he might get an upscale just from that. But I don't know what you can do. Like, even if you one-shot Rocks Dominie Reverse, it's like, okay, you can one-shot a pirate, you know? Like, who cares? You know? Like, I don't know. I don't know what your hacks are. Like, to be at this tier, you need so much going for you. And he doesn't get much narrative scaling because he's already dead. Like, he doesn't have room to grow except for next week. That's like his last day is his Ascension to Pirate King. I guess maybe finding Laugh Tale, maybe there's some obstacle there. But really, at this point, it feels like he's the scam Pirate King. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess it took Newgate a little bit of time to build out his own crew, to build out his own prime, and really, he's only Pirate King because Newgate needed more time to build a crew. But he just doesn't feel on par with the rest of what we've seen from the cast. I'll give him above Dragon because Dragon's commanders aren't as strong as the Roger commanders that we've seen, and Dragon hasn't done anything himself. But to be frank, narrative scaling, Dragon's probably going to surpass Roger, unless, again, Roger does something really impressive very soon. Alright, Vegapunk and the Vegapunksters. These guys are fodder. I'm not going to think too much about this. Let's toss them into New World. And this is actually the last character we're ranking today is Mr. Blackbeard. Easy... Oh, wait, no, he's already ranked. That's it. That is our list. Oh, let's do Shiki. Author Shiki into Loyanko. So who did we miss? There's definitely some warlords who are not on this list, because it feels like we didn't hit 7. I guess we got most of the important ones. Alright, this is the official, canonical One Piece tier list, okay? I didn't think Newgate was going to be this high going into it, but just thinking about the sheer power that he brought to Marineford, we haven't seen a feat like that since. And being able to nearly virtually one-tap the entire Marine base by himself, not even counting the rest of his crew. Like, what are you supposed to say? If a guy can one-shot every admiral and every, warlord and the entire Marine forces before we even start thinking about his crew, and then he gets saved by one commander, it's like, by one admiral just having counter hacks. I don't know what there's to say. He's just him. And this is, by the way, super subprime Newgate, who's on life support. And he tanks so much during Marineford. He's getting hit constantly. And he just keeps tanking and tanking and tanking and tanking and tanking. He's so strong. He's just such a legend. It's hard not to be a Newgate fan these days. Shanks does have good hacks, but we got to give it to Newgate here. Shanks doesn't have island destruction. That'll be our tier list. All right. Anything else that we missed? We will wrap it up here.